Do you believe in a life after death? Do you believe that we will see again those we miss so much after we die? If you don't believe it, you will change your mind after this video. We have done extensive research and now want to present to you 5 fascinating, credible proofs of life after death that will leave you speechless. So make yourself comfortable and grab something nice to drink. Place 5. What happens when we die? Dr. Penny Sartori, born on July 21, 1971, is a British researcher who previously worked as a nurse. Her work focuses on the fascinating phenomenon of near-death experiences. The studies of Dr. Sartori focus mainly on patients who suffered a cardiac arrest and then had a near-death experience. She conducted extensive interviews with patients and carefully analyzed their reports in order to find patterns and similarities. Sartori said that people who had a near-death experience mostly reported very similar events. Some patients, for example, described the feeling of floating above their own body. This strange sensation of floating, which often occurs in near-death experiences, is called an out-of-body experience. During this experience, the person feels detached from their physical body and is able to see themselves from the outside. Also, entering a tunnel of light is often reported in connection with near-death experiences. Here the person feels as if they are walking or gliding through a tunnel, at the end of which a very bright, radiant light is visible. This experience is perceived as a kind of transition that leads the person from this world into the afterlife. There are also reports that during this passage through the tunnel, deceased relatives appeared, urging the person not to go into the light, but to return. Extremely fascinating. Many also tell of encounters with beings of light. These beings are mostly perceived as friendly, loving, and calming. Some people describe them as angels who make them feel safe and protected. Experiencing a life review is also another common element of near-death experiences. It is as if one sees one's life pass before them in a fast-moving film, with all important events, encounters, and emotions. This experience is described as very intense and emotional. The results of Dr. Sartori's studies showed that near-death experiences often bring deep and profound changes in the lives of those affected. Many people thereafter show more interest in spirituality and a greater appreciation for life. They also report that they no longer feel fear of death. The valuable research of Dr. Penny Sartori attracted great public attention and even amazed the greatest skeptics. Her work provided a scientific approach to a complex subject that is often considered esoteric or unscientific. Dr. Sartori said, "Unfortunately, near-death experiences and out-of-body experiences are regarded as nonsense by most people. Therefore, many people do not dare to speak openly about their experiences." Sartori herself is firmly convinced that physical death does not mean the end of our existence. Are the researches of Dr. Penny Sartori perhaps proof for the existence of an immortal soul? Is there really a life after death? If you like this video, leave us a subscription and a thumbs up. Thank you very much. Place 4. The AWARE Study. The AWARE Study, Awareness During Resuscitation, counts among the world's most important research projects on near-death experiences. Under the leadership of Sam Parnia, this study was conducted by a team of scientists. Dr. Sam Parnia, born on February 25, 1974, is a renowned expert in the field of clinical research and intensive care medicine. The AWARE study was conducted in the early 2000s and aimed to examine the consciousness of patients who were clinically dead. Clinically dead means that no measurable vital functions, such as breathing or heartbeat, are present, but the patient is not yet completely dead. The main focus was to determine whether people could have out-of-body experiences during clinical death. The study was aimed at finding an answer to one of the most exciting questions in connection with death. Is there a consciousness that can exist beyond the physical body? The researchers, led by Dr. Sam Parnia, collected data from patients who were clinically dead for a certain period of time. They documented what the patients experienced during this state between life and death. They then analyzed these reports and checked whether there was evidence that the patients had out-of-body experiences. Dr. Parnia was completely stunned, because the analysis of the reports showed extremely astonishing results. Some of the patients described experiences that indeed indicated they had out-of-body experiences during clinical death. These experiences included the feeling of viewing their own body from the outside, the perception of conversations and people present during resuscitation, as well as the experience of a light or tunnel. Dr. Parnia said, "I myself could not believe it, but some patients were even able to repeat the exact content of conversations that took place during the time when the patient was lying unconscious and was medically dead. That is more than fascinating and suggests that there is something supernatural that we humans do not understand and cannot explain." Dr. Sam Parnia emphasized repeatedly that consciousness might not be bound to the physical body, and that research on near-death experiences could provide important insights into human existence. An extremely interesting statement from Dr. Parnia. Consciousness is therefore not bound to the body, which means we can exist without the body. That really gives you something to think about. The official results of the AWARE study point to the incredible fact that some patients actually had out-of-body experiences during clinical death. Is that therefore the scientific proof for the existence of a soul that continues to exist even without the physical body? Is the body only a shell that we need to make our experiences on Earth? Place 3. Life after life. Dr. Raymond Moody, born on June 30, 1944 in Porterdale, Georgia, USA, is a pioneer in the research of near-death experiences. His groundbreaking book, Life After Life, first published in 1975, has inspired and influenced countless people worldwide. In his book, Dr. Moody describes the results of extensive case studies of people who had near-death experiences. He analyzes the common elements and patterns of these experiences and comes to the conclusion that across cultures and beliefs, they are astonishingly similar. People from different religious backgrounds, including Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Buddhism, and Hinduism, report similar elements in their near-death experiences. These experiences occur regardless of whether the affected persons are believers or which religious tradition they belong to. The reports of near-death experiences studied by Dr. Moody come from different parts of the world and include a variety of cultures and ways of life. But despite this diversity, the experiences show remarkable similarities, such as floating above one's own body, passing through a tunnel, and encounters with beings of light or deceased relatives. This fact suggests that near-death experiences are universal phenomena that cause similar experiences in every person. The most fascinating part is that even atheists, people who are not religious, reported encounters with God or Jesus Christ during their near-death experiences. At this point, we must ask ourselves why people who do not believe in the existence of God report a meeting with God during their near-death experience. Extremely astonishing. Passing through a tunnel is also a common element in near-death experiences. This experience is described by people from all cultures and religions and is regarded as a transition from earthly reality into the afterlife. It is reported that at the end of this tunnel, a radiant, warm light can be seen that has a very strong attraction. It is said that one feels a powerful urge to enter this light. A fascinating theory suggests that the tunnel and the light at the end of it symbolize the birth canal, through which the soul enters a newborn body and is thus reborn. This suggests that near-death experiences not only provide insights into life after death, but also point to the cycle of rebirth. In some spiritual teachings, the idea is held that the soul, when it follows the light at the end of the tunnel, is ready to be born into a new body and to go through the cycle of birth and death once more. Accordingly, entering the light could mean that the soul voluntarily chooses another incarnation. But the soul is also said to have the option to break the cycle of birth and death by deciding not to follow the light. Instead, the soul could choose to remain in a state of enlightenment or pure consciousness that lies beyond earthly life. Thus, we have the freedom to decide whether we want to be reborn or not. Dr. Moody's book, Life Afterlife, became a bestseller and sparked worldwide interest in this topic. Through his work, Dr. Moody contributed significantly to near-death experiences being taken seriously and recognized as an important aspect of human consciousness. So is there really life after death? Can we even decide after death whether we want to be reborn, or rather enter the heavenly realm? Place 2. Encounters with the Departed. Dr. Peter Fenwick, born on May 25, 1935, is an expert in the field of near-death experiences and consciousness. His long-standing work focuses on understanding the mysterious phenomena surrounding death and consciousness. Fenwick and his research team conducted an interesting study aimed at analyzing reports of dying people who, during the dying process, experienced visions or visits from already deceased relatives. During the study, the individuals whose reports were examined were close to death. Dr. Fenwick and his team communicated with the dying and carefully documented what they experienced and said. Fenwick discovered in his examination of the reports of the dying that a recurring pattern could be seen. Many of the dying go through a phase in which they encounter already deceased family members or friends. These visits are often described as very real and meaningful. Some reported seeing bright lights or having a sensation of floating or weightlessness. Others described encounters with deceased relatives or friends who gave them comfort and prepared them for the upcoming transition into the afterlife. Some of the dying said that during these experiences they felt a strong sense of peace and harmony. Absolutely fascinating. What was also quite interesting is the fact that these experiences occur regardless of cultural, religious, or ethnic background. That means both believers and non-believers, regardless of their origin or faith, reported encounters with the departed. The research findings suggest that these experiences are not mere hallucinations, but provide deeper insights into the nature of human consciousness and existence after death. Dr. Fenwick also found that the individuals showed no signs of fear or panic during dying. On the contrary, they were completely calm and peaceful. Does this mean that there is no reason to fear death or what comes after death? Is there therefore a soul that continues to exist after physical death? Will we then be together again after death with all those we miss so much? A very beautiful thought. Place 1. Proof of life after death. Born in 1955, Dr. Jeffrey Long is a renowned researcher specializing in near-death experiences. He is the founder of the Near-Death Experience Research Foundation and has conducted numerous studies on this fascinating phenomenon. One of his groundbreaking studies is documented in his book, Evidence of the Afterlife, first published in 2010. In this study, Dr. Long examined the common features of near-death experiences that people have during life-threatening situations, such as a cardiac arrest or an accident. He analyzed thousands of reports from people who had near-death experiences and identified recurring patterns. These include the sensation of floating above one's body, passing through a tunnel, meeting deceased relatives or spiritual beings, as well as experiencing an intense feeling of love and peace. Many people who experience near-death experiences also report a feeling of timelessness. They describe that time during their experience either seems to stand still, or that they feel a sense of infinity in which past, present, and future merge together. Very, very interesting. Others also report passing through a gate, crossing a bridge, or immersing themselves in a bright light that represents the transition into the afterlife. Some tell that they were told that their time had not yet come and that they had to return to Earth. This return to the physical body is often felt as unpleasant and is accompanied by a sense of sadness. People who have had a near-death experience are afterwards also more grateful and value life much more. They lose their fear of death and emphasize that there is no reason to be afraid of death, since we are immortal beings who continue to exist after death. So, do we really not need to fear death? Dr. Long also looked into possible scientific explanations for near-death experiences, such as neurological processes. But Long said that near-death experiences cannot be explained by science alone, and that there are things we humans do not understand. For many people, near-death experiences have a spiritual dimension that goes beyond purely physiological explanations. They see these experiences as an indication of life after death, of a reality beyond the material world, or of the existence of a higher dimension. The research of Dr. Jeffrey Long has led to interest in near-death experiences rising significantly within the scientific community and no longer being dismissed. Some people reported that during their near-death experience, they were asked to return to Earth because their time had not yet come. Does this mean that the moment of our death is predetermined? Now, we are looking forward to your personal opinions on this. Do you believe in the existence of an immortal soul? Which study do you find the most fascinating? Write it down in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.